Hey guys, this is Corey here doing another Halo 3 action figure review, and today I'm reviewing the Series 3 Brute War Chieftain figure. And I was pretty excited to get this figure, because I really like the gold armor on him. I think it's really, really nice. It makes this guy look really elite, really important, and he stands out in your collection. As far as most of the other Brutes have like bluish gray armor. You know, this guy has gold armor, so you gotta know he's important. He comes with a fuel rod cannon, which if you don't know, this is like the Conan version of basically a rocket launcher. And it's pretty good detail on it. This thing actually comes up, like lifts up for when you've used a lot of the fuel rod, and it'll cool down and it'll pop up. And yeah, these things aren't removable. The little fuel rods, I guess you would call them. That's how you would take them out and reload the gun, and then it's a pretty cool weapon. You have to fit it into his hands. It's pretty hard to fit into his hands actually, because his hands are really, the brute hands are really thick. They're like big, huge, meaty fingers, and they will not move or give you any leverage when you're trying to put a weapon in his hands. So you have to heat up his hands and then put the weapon in. The only problem is the fuel rod cannon has like this little trigger. I don't know if you could see that or not, but there's a little trigger on the fuel rod cannon, and this one's about to snap off. But yeah, you're pretty much gonna lose the trigger when you put it into his hands, which it's not really a big deal to me because you can't even really see the trigger at all anyway. So, but for other collectors who don't want to damage their, you know, their weapons and stuff that the figure comes with, they're probably gonna be upset. I would be too, you know. Figure you get an action figure, it should be able to hold the weapons and not break the weapons in its hands. But one thing I did notice about this fuel rod cannon is it's actually a different color. This is actually like a golder color to match his armor, which is more of a gold, you know, armor. And they actually came out with some other fuel rod cannons that have been in like the weapons packs, and one that came with the Sage Hayabusa that I had. It actually looks like this. And if you could see, this one is a brighter yellow, and this one's a darker, more goldish yellow. And I really like these fuel rod cannons more than these, because they just look better detailed and more realistic than these ones. These are just kind of like bright yellow, just weapon, whatever, no big deal. But these ones I prefer. I can get more of these. It would look really cool. So yeah. He does have a removable helmet. Like he's been shot, and you can just take his helmet off. Detail on the helmet is really cool. It has these little jagged edges along the side. It's kind of like in a V shape. And if you guys ever read Contact Harvest, I think it was either Tartarus or his uncle was wearing this War Chieftain armor, and he had a hammer, and that's basically symbolizing that, you know, he was like a War Chieftain. He was pretty much like a general of the brutes and stuff. And it's a very cool figure. None of the other armor is removable or anything, like the shoulders and stuff. You can take them off, but putting them back on is going to be a lot harder because you just took off the natural like glue that's already on there, so you're going to have to probably glue it back on and you know, keep re-gluing it, or it's just going to keep falling off. So, but take off his helmet, you can see his face, and his face is really cool looking. I like how the brutes have these bright red eyes to give them, you know, this really evil character look to him. And all his teeth in his mouth and his little goatee are all nicely detailed. The armor is really nicely detailed too. I'm really happy that this figure came out good, like the paint sculpt and everything. As far as all the detail went, like you can see little buckles and stuff, and all the cloth lining the inside of his body, and he's got like a little armor piece on the top of his hand, which is pretty cool. And he has little gold armor bits all around, and I really like these tubes, or these wires going from like his body into his armor, because you know brutes wear power armor. So yeah, very cool figure. I would recommend him for most collections. It's a really cool brute, and he's not that expensive either. These guys you could find for, you know, less than $10 at most stores. He's a really awesome looking figure too, to have a bunch of brutes around. As you know, the war chieftain would probably be like the leader of his brute pack. You had a bunch of like jetpack brutes or brute stalkers and stuff. You set them around there and make a cool little diorama, or, you know, stop motion or something like that. A lot of people have problems too making the him be able to hold his fuel rod cannon. And what I do is I just lift his arms all the way up towards like his head, kind of like that, and then just kind of bring it in, and his helmet pops off. That's not a big deal. Turn his head, and then you can kind of get him into, like, he's gonna shoot you position. That's what I call it. It's the gonna shoot you position. This is what this position is. So yeah. And if all of you are wondering, this brute is actually the highest ranking brute they've come out with, besides Tartarus. Like, if you know this brute right here from Series 1, this Chieftain, this brute on this side is actually higher ranking than this brute. Just a fun fact I thought I'd throw in there. But they both look really cool together too, I think. Because you got like this nice red armor, red black armor, and this bright gold armor. They both really look awesome together on display. And then if you had a bunch of like lower brutes, like stalkers and jump pack brutes, to fill in the gap here, it looks really awesome on display. So yeah, and then articulation too is not too bad. His legs move. His knees bend up and down a little bit, not too much though, because the armor right here is blocking the movement. And then the feet, and his waist, his head, it's on a ball joint, so he can do 360. His wrists are on 360, or are on ball joints, so you can do 360 with them. Shoulders, they move in and out, and then his arms move up and down and stuff. So pretty decent articulation. I mean, the brutes are getting better as far as articulation goes. You know, from like the jump pack brute and Tartarus compared to like these two figures and the brute stalker, it's a big difference. So yeah. Yeah, if you like these reviews, check out my channel. I got a bunch of reviews, various action figure lines and cool stuff. And this review is kind of long, but I had a lot of stuff to say about this guy. This guy's probably one of my favorite figures. So yeah, so check out my channel, subscribe, send me a message or friend request, and I will see you all in the next review. Thank you all for watching.